teens being recruited into gangs. Women encouraged to get tested for cervical cancer. Testing capacity needed for Sargassum, and Scarborough Secondary School begins recycling. Good evening, I'm Patricia Nicholson-Richards. Welcome to the Tobago Updates television news for Friday, 10th January 2025. To our top story this evening. At age 12, most children in Tobago at the Standard 5 level begin preparing for the Secondary Entrance Assessment, SEA, which determines their secondary school placement. However, Senior Superintendent Earl Eli expressed concern that some are being recruited into gangs. He called this a troubling trend and urged parents and the community to stay vigilant in protecting children. Reporter Joshua Dan has the details.
During the security stakeholder meeting hosted by the Office of the Chief Secretary on Thursday afternoon, Senior Superintendent Earl Eli made a shocking revelation. He revealed that police intelligence has uncovered that children as young as 12 years old are being recruited into gangs on the island.
We see the gangs targeting or focusing more on young persons. In the Tobago space, we have information of persons as young as 12 years old involved in that sort of activity, right? And this is becoming even more and more popular.
He expressed concern over this troubling development, noting that gangs are increasingly targeting younger individuals ranging from early teens to early 20s.
Primary age for inclusion in gangs is early teenage, from early teenage until 22, 23, 24, that kind of age group. That's the age group where you get inculcated in the gangs. And it is becoming more and more focused on the younger ages.
Senior Superintendent Eli referenced the case of a 15-year-old Signal Hill Secondary School student who was found dead at Mount Hay, Tobago, with gunshot wounds to his body. He noted that the young man did not have a completely clean record with law enforcement.
That particular 15-year-old, he wasn't what we will call a squeaky clean young man. He would have been involved in certain activities. I wouldn't want to mention it, but he would have been involved in certain activities, unfortunately. And at that age, a young man is very impressionable.
He is urging parents to take a more proactive role in their children's lives and is calling on the wider community to step up and help guide young people in the right direction. He also shared that special officers have been deployed to various schools across the island to monitor the situation.
We have the community policing unit, right, that are focused heavily on the schools, right, entering each school in Tobago. Officers assigned to each school in Tobago to treat with issues like that.
Joshua Dan, Tobago Updates, Television News.
Now to this. January marks Cervical Cancer Awareness Month, a time to highlight the risks of cervical cancer, which sexually active women can be susceptible to through the transmission of the human papillomavirus or HPV. Women between the ages of 21 and 65 are at risk of developing the disease. According to gynecologists and obstetricians Dr. Chantel Winchester and Dr. Victor Wheeler, one of the most effective ways to prevent cervical cancer is through regular pap smear. Reporter Joshua Dan once again with the details.
According to Dr. Chantal Winchester, a gynecologist and obstetrician, the disease is caused by the human papillomavirus, which is transmitted through sexual intercourse. While cervical cancer develops slowly, it can be detected in women between the ages of 21 and 65.
Cervical cancer is cancer of the cervix. The cervix is the part of the woman's reproductive system that connects the uterus or the womb to the vagina. So we refer to it as the neck of the womb. This is when abnormal cells are developed at the neck of the womb, and then it can invade the rest of the body.
Dr. Winchester explained the procedure, reassuring women about what to expect.
This is a speculum. This is the instrument that is used to place into the vagina. So we insert it into the vagina, and in order to visualize the cervix, and the spatula or the brush, these are the instruments we would use to obtain the cells and put it on the slide and then send it to the lab.
And if no abnormalities are found during that time, screening can be stopped. Dr. Victor Wheeler, a gynecologist and obstetrician, noted a decrease in cervical cancer diagnosis on the island. He explained that the disease takes 10 to 13 years to develop and is most common in women over 50, which is why pap smears are not recommended for women under 20 due to their undeveloped cervix.
And we also don't do any pap smears before 21, because under the age of 21, the neck of the womb is still going through the maturation process. So there may be some abnormal cells that may be picked up on the pap smear that are not going to develop into cancer.
He explained that pap smears detect cervical cell abnormalities, which can be tested for cancer. If cancer is found, the patient will be referred to a specialist for treatment.
If you can identify these abnormal cells, then you would be sent to do what is called a colposcopy, which is a special procedure where you use a microscope to magnify the neck of the womb, and you can put certain stains on it. And if you see an abnormal or suspicious area, you can remove just that small part of the cervix and send it to be tested.
Joshel Dan, Tobago Updates, Television News.
Now to a different kind of testing. Recent competitions held by the Inter-American Development Bank, or the IDB, demonstrated various ways Sargassum seaweed can be used to produce byproducts in the Caribbean. However, Senior Director of the Environment, Climate Change and Energy Unit in the THA, Linford Beckles, pointed out that Trinidad and Tobago lacks the testing capacity to ensure the metal content in the seaweed does not pose a problem for products or fertilizer. More from Candice Jackson.
A problem affecting shoreline since 2011, Sargassum seaweed has the potential to be turned into fertilizer. However, according to Linford Beckles, Senior Director of the Environment, Climate Change and Energy Unit in the THA, the seaweed has a high metal content, including arsenic, cadmium and mercury, which can be dangerous.
We did develop a proposal and so on for the approval of the Assembly to have, periodic testing of the sargassum that we actually receive to ensure that the heavy metals don't get into the food chain. Once it gets in there, then that is it essentially, right? So we have to be very, very careful.
At an inquiry by Parliament's Public Accounts and Appropriations Committee, the THA was asked why they have not encouraged more entrepreneurs to find alternative uses for Sargassum seaweed. However, Beckles explained that while developing byproducts may be relatively easy, it is not as simple to get them tested to ensure they are safe for public use.
It is something that is also very expensive because they have to do the requisite testing. And I think much of the testing for the heavy metals is done actually out of the country because we don't have the in-country capacity to do the heavy metal testing.
Beckles told the committee that this might be an opportunity for the government to consider, as the THA lacks the capacity to implement the necessary testing systems.
I am suggesting here that there's a role that the government can actually play, that the state agencies can actually play in providing support to some of these entrepreneurs to defray some of the expenses and so on related to the kind of significant testing and kind of involved testing that they have to do.
In the meantime, whenever Sargassum seaweed arrives on the shorelines, it is either removed from heavily used areas by THA crews or allowed to be naturally cleared by changing tides. The government has also formed a special Sargassum seaweed task force,
which is chaired by someone from the IMA, I think Dr. Rahana Juman, and I'm a part of that as well. So we are now looking at developing a framework that is a little more national in scope.
Candice Jackson, Tobago Updates, Television News.
We'll take a short break and come back with more. Stay tuned.
Attention, members of TWCU Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited. Are you ready to take the next step and help shape your credit union's future? This is your chance to get involved. We're now accepting nominations for elections at our 75th Annual General Meeting 2025. Open positions include spots on the Supervisory Committee, the Board of Directors, and the Credit Committee. Nomination packages are available on our website www.twcu.co.tt, or you can pick one up at our Port of Spain or Tobago offices. The completed forms can be dropped off at the said offices or emailed to nominations@twcu.co.tt no later than January 17, 2025 at 3 p.m. For more information, visit our website at www.twcu.co.tt. Don't miss this opportunity to make a difference. Apply today and guide the future of your credit union. TWCU, Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited. Our credit union, one family.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With Amplia TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with Amplia's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 GB fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With Amplia, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. Amplia. Do more, live more.
Welcome back. Former Minority Leader Ashworth Jack is questioning Stuart Young's ability to serve as Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago effectively. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley recently announced Young as his successor, revealing plans to resign soon. This decision has sparked controversy within the PNM as it bypasses the party's traditional process of selecting a new leader. Reporter Candice Jackson has more details.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley's decision to appoint MP Stuart Young as his successor following a PNM parliamentary caucus has caused disarray within the party. Several stalwarts have expressed dissatisfaction, arguing that if Dr. Rowley intended to step down, he should have allowed the party's internal elections, which were postponed in 2024, to determine his successor democratically. However, former Minority Leader Ashworth Jack believes the situation will not significantly affect the PNM.
They go work that out. One way or the other, they will work that out.
Jack's main concern is whether Young is the best man for the job.
Is it that this person is the most competent person in the government? And if that is the case, then you tell me the government hardly have any competent people, because he was Minister of National Security. We see what happened there. Ministry of Energy, we see what happened there. So it is not that this is a case of outstanding competence.
Instead, Jack believes that this was a strategic move by Dr. Rowley to secure Young's position as his successor in both the government and the PNM.
Everybody knew from day one that Stuart Young was the Prime Minister's boy.
Okay.
That he was a choice.
Jack believes it is almost as if Dr. Rowley is forcing the PNM's hand.
But I think the reason the Prime Minister have held on to the position of political leader is that nobody could touch Stuart in the period, at least until September. So it gives them enough time to go to a poll and to see if Stuart could win.
With Dr. Rowley remaining as head of the party, Jack theorized that this arrangement would allow Young to be properly mentored for the role.
It is very strategic to say, this is who I want, and I am going to show you that this person can perform. And therefore, let me make the room. I'll be still there to to groom, to guide, because there'll be a prime minister in name and then there'll be a prime minister in power.
According to media reports from Trinidad, concerns about young selection process were raised at the PNM Central Executive meeting on Thursday. However, no resolution was reported. The party's General Council is scheduled to meet on Saturday, where it is expected that the issue will be addressed further. Candace Jackson, Tobago Updates, Television News.
The Scarborough Secondary School has launched its own recycling program in partnership with the Tobago Recycling Resource Initiative, TRRI. Special collection bins have been provided to the school's Environment and Beautification Club, with students taking responsibility for encouraging their peers to recycle beverage containers instead of discarding them in garbage bins. The students will also collaborate with TRRI to ensure their recyclables are properly sorted and sent to the processing plant. Managing Director Sean Roberts explained that this initiative is part of their efforts to change Tobago's waste management culture. He hopes it will encourage more Tobagonians to be intentional about recycling and reducing the amount of waste that ends up in landfills or on the side of the road. Additional bins will be placed in other schools across the island in the coming months. Entrepreneur Akil Andrews is reshaping Tobago's business landscape with his luxury beard care brand, Beard Boss. While businesses were closing their doors during the COVID-19 pandemic, Andrews was opening his. Renowned for helping men achieve healthy beards, the brand has become a favorite among its target audience. In 2023, Andrews introduced the Beard Boss calendar, featuring 12 Tobagonian brand ambassadors as part of the Beard Boss experience. This innovative concept has grown into a highly anticipated feature of the brand.
Beard Boss is my baby before I had my own baby, right? And it was launched in the midst of the pandemic in COVID-19 in 2020, in December of 2020 to be exact, right? And it's a special one because when persons were closing their doors, I was actually opening my business, right? So the business flourished and now it is here into just more than just beard oil or beard shampoo or beard conditioner, but it's a movement.
Because the last two calendar reveals were highly successful, Andrews decided to take things up a notch with the launch of the 2025 edition of the calendar during a brief ceremony earlier today at Le Chateau, Mount Pleasant.
In January of 2023, I launched the first ever Beard Boss calendar, right? And that within itself was an entire success, right? And then, of course, we had last year with Marcus Sunday, which was a resounding success. So this year I decided to do things a bit differently. We go hard or we go home.
Among the men featured on this year's calendar are THA Assemblyman Niall George, prolific steel band arranger O.J. Richards, renowned spoken word artist Cleon McPherson, and a skilled trap set drummer Callan Jamor Alexander. The Beard Boss line, which features 4 products, is at 9 locations across Trinidad and Tobago. You're watching the Tobago Updates television news. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Tobago Updates. We take a short break and come back with more. Stay tuned.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Tonight I am here with the Giant African Snail Eradication Team, a small but dedicated team of men who work tirelessly every night to help suppress and eventually eradicate the giant African snail in the infested areas of Tobago. The giant African snail, as you know, is a pest of several species of plants and is also the vector of the rat lungworm that can cause meningitis in humans. Tonight we want to emphasize the need for public participation. We have our dedicated staff here who work tirelessly on a regular basis to eradicate new spaces. However, the exercise will only be effective if we have cooperation and coordination with members of the public. How can you help to help us eradicate the giant African snail, you may ask? You can do that by checking the division's Facebook page every Monday and you will see the eradication schedule. If you have the time, you can avail yourself by calling or WhatsApping 482-7528, which is the Plant Protection Hotline, and volunteer to work alongside the eradication team. Why is that important to come out and work with the eradication team? We have 5 men here working, but if we have an additional 5 pair of eyes, more snails can be intercepted. So we are calling on everyone who has the time and is able to come out with your closed-toe footwear, preferably boots, but anything that covers your toes, and of course a torch, and come prepared to help us collect and destroy these dangerous and destructive pests.
The Tobago Emergency Management Agency, TEMA, has appointed Melora Agbeko as its new Assistant Director and Operations Chief, effective January 6th. In her role, Agbeko will oversee disaster response strategies and manage key units, including the Community Emergency Response Team CERT, Logistics, ICT, and Operations. TEMA highlighted that her leadership will be crucial in improving coordination and enhancing the agency's ability to manage emergencies while building community resilience. Director Alan Stewart praised Agbeko's expertise in disaster management, calling her a valuable addition to TEMA's senior management team. Now for a look at the weekend weather from the TNT Met Office. Tonight, mostly fair and cool apart from the odd shower. Temperatures will be around 24 degrees Celsius. Tomorrow, predominantly hot and sunny despite the chance of an odd shower. A mostly fair and cool night is anticipated. Daytime temperatures will reach 31 degrees Celsius, while nighttime lows will be around 24 degrees Celsius. On Sunday, generally fair despite the likelihood of 1 or 2 light passing showers. Seas will be moderate throughout the weekend with waves 1.5 to 2 meters in open waters and near 1.3 meters, occasionally choppy in sheltered areas. And that's how we end this evening's newscast. Here's a recap of our headlines. Preteens are being recruited into gangs. Women encouraged to get tested for cervical cancer. Testing capacity needed for Sargassum and Scarborough Secondary School begins recycling. I'm Patricia Nicholson-Richards, thanking you so much for joining us and wishing you a great night and an even greater weekend.